Fatima Convent High School. Myself, Dipali. Chapter 5 Periodic Classification of Elements, Class 10. We are going to understand the modern periodic table, which is the key element to study in chemistry. In 1913, Henry Moseley showed that atomic number, symbolized as Z, of an element is a more fundamental property than its atomic masses. Accordingly, Mendelev's periodic table was modified and atomic number was adopted as the basis of modern periodic table. So you can see the basis of all the three periodic tables are different. And the final which is adopted and which we use daily now is based on the atomic number. The modern periodic table can be stated as below. The properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic number. In the previous three periodic tables, atomic mass was their periodic function. Let us recall that the atomic number gives us the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom, and this number increases by 1 in going from one element to next. Elements, when arranged in the order of increasing atomic number, lead us to the classification known as modern periodic table, as shown in table 5.6. Prediction of properties of elements could be made with more precision when elements were arranged on the basis of increasing atomic number. So, as you go from one element to the other element, the atomic number keeps on increasing. Now, how were the position of cobalt and nickel resolved in the modern periodic table? How were the position of isotopes of various elements decided in the modern periodic table? Is it possible to have an element with atomic number 1.5 placed between hydrogen and helium? Where do you think should hydrogen be placed in modern periodic table? Let us answer all these questions after looking at the modern periodic table. This is the modern periodic table. In this modern periodic table, if you try to observe, they are boxes. But the number of boxes are not same in the columns and rows. The columns are called as groups, which are numbered by 1, 2, 3 till 18. So total there are 18 groups. Elements belonging to the same group have same property. Now, if you see, the numbers are given in vertical lines as well. Now in the rows, where you have 1, 2, 3 till 7. So there are 7 periods or 7 rows. And then you see variety of colors. Now these colors are depicted to differentiate these elements and group them and classify them into metals. So all this which are in green color as this, they are all metals. You can see that there are maximum elements in metallic form. The pink colored substances are metalloids or semi-metals, and the zigzag line which is shown here represents the separating line between metals and non-metals. So all these elements are metalloids, which have the property of metals as well as non-metals. And the yellow colored elements, which are very few in the last part of the column or the periodic table, are called as non-metals. Then at the bottom you have the lactanite and the anthenite series. These are special metals which form a separate group, and they start from number 57 to 71 and number 89 to 103. So this is what is called as modern periodic table, which is very much similar to the periodic table given by Mendeleev. Now you will observe here that hydrogen is placed separate. There is no connection between the lines of hydrogen, which shows that it is given a special position due to its properties. Now let us discuss each of its property in detail. As we have seen that modern periodic table, there are take care of three limitations of Mendeleev's periodic table. The anomalous position of hydrogen can be discussed after we see what are the bases on which the position of an element in the periodic table depends. The position of the elements in the periodic table. The modern periodic table, there are 18 vertical columns called as groups and 7 horizontal rows called as periods. Now, if you look at group 1 in the modern periodic table, the names of elements present in it, write down the electronic configuration of first 3 elements in group 1. So, if you see group 1, then it is hydrogen, lithium and sodium. If you write the electronic configuration of hydrogen, it is 1s1. Of lithium, that is 1s2, 2s1. And sodium Na, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. Now what do you observe? Can you see any similarity between this? And how many valence electrons do these three have? Yes. If you observe, as the number of periods increases, going downwards, the valence electron remains same, that is 1. But the number of orbits increases. So as we go from period 1, 2, 3, the s orbital has 1 electrons, but the number of orbits have increased. So you will find that all these elements contain same number of valence electrons, that is 1. Similarly, you will find that elements present in any one group has the same number of valence electrons taking any other group. Let us take one more example of fluorine and chlorine belonging to group 17. You will observe that it will have 1 electron same as this electrons have. So now how many electrons do fluorine and chlorine have in their outermost shell? You will observe they will have 7. Like if you talk about fluorine, then its atomic number you can observe from the periodic table is 9 and of chlorine is 17. So if you write the electronic configuration, it will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. So valence electrons are 7. Same way chlorine, that is 17 is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So you can observe again here there are 7 valence electrons. So if you go on observing these type of configurations for each element, you will observe this type of periodicity in each group as you go from top to bottom. So how many electrons are there in fluorine and chlorine in their outermost shell? 7. Hence, we can say that groups in the periodic table signify an identical outer shell electronic configuration. On the other hand, the number of shell increases as we go down the group. As you can see, here it is only having K and L shell, but chlorine is having K, L and M shell. So the number of shells are increasing and valence electrons are remaining same. There is an anomaly which is when it comes to the position of hydrogen, because it can be placed either in group 1 or in group 7 in the first periodic table. Can you say why? Because hydrogen has configuration as 1. So 1s, when you talk about hydrogen, it is 1s1. So either it can take 1 electron or give 1 electron and form positive as well as negative ion. And so you cannot have its position finalized in which group to be put. Now if you look at the modern periodic table, you will find that elements like lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine and neon are present in the second period. Write down their electronic configuration. So let us do that. Now lithium Li is 1s1, 2s, 1s2, 2s1. Beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine. This is 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So if you write here 1s2, 2s2, then 1s2, 2s2, 2p1, then 1s2, 2s2, 2p2, then 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, then 1s2, 2s2, 2p4, 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. Now you observe that the number of shells is remaining same in the period, but the number of electrons are increasing. So, do you find these elements also contain same number of valence electrons? No. Do they contain same number of cells? Yes. So, now you will find that the elements of second period do not have same number of valence electrons, but they contain same number of valence cells. So, you can observe that the number of valence shell electrons increases by 1 unit as the atomic number increases by 1 unit on moving from left to right in the period. Or we can say that atoms of different elements with the same number of occupied shells are placed in same period. Sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur and chlorine and argon belong to the third period of the modern periodic table. Since the electron in the atoms of these elements are filled in KLM shell, write the electronic configurations of these elements and confirm the above statement. Each period makes a new electronic shell getting filled. So as you move from left to right, the number of shells will go on increasing and the valence electrons will be different. How many elements are there in the first, second, third and fourth period? Now let us count them. In the first period there is only 1. In the second in the first period if you try to observe there is only 1 and 2. Then in second period, in first period it is 2. In second period it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In third period it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fourth period it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Fifth period also it will have 18. Then if you go down to sixth period and seventh period, you will observe that there are 32 each, as these two elemental series are included in them. So it will have 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32 and 32 elements as we go down in the periods. Now, if you try to observe this, then you will easily be able to discuss that we can explain the number of elements in this period based on how electrons are filled into various shells. You will study the details in this higher classes. Recall that maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the shell depends on the formula 2n raised to 2, where n is the number of given shell from the nucleus. So K can have 2 electrons, L can have 8, M can have 18, 18, 32, 32 respectively. So according to this, the periods are also following the formula of 2n2. This reason for this will be studied in higher classes. The position of an element in the periodic table tells us about its chemical reactivity. As you have learned, the valence electron determines the kind of and number of bonds formed by an element. Can you now say why Mendeleev chose the formula of compounds on the basis for deciding the position of elements in the periodic table was good one? Yes. So Mendeleev to great extent followed these properties. How would this lead to the element with similar chemical properties being placed in the same group? So that answers can be understood here. Now what are the trends in the periodic table? Valency. As you know, the valency of an element is determined by the number of valence electrons present in the outermost shell of its atom. How can you calculate the valency of an element from its electronic configuration? After writing the electronic configuration, the outermost shell electrons are the valence electrons. What is the valency of magnesium with atomic number 12? So if you have atomic number 12, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, that is 12. And sulfur, which is 16. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. Similarly, find out the valency of first 20 elements. That would be your homework. Now, how does the valency vary in the period on going from left to right? If you go from left to right, the valency goes on increasing. And how do the valency vary in going down to the group? No change in the valency. So as you go from left to right, valencies increase. And as you go from top to bottom, no change in the valency. Now what happens to the atomic size? The term atomic size refers to the radius of an atom. The atomic size may be visualized as the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell of an isolated atom. The atomic radius of hydrogen atom is 37 pm. Picometer. 1 picometer is to 10 raised to minus 12 meters. Now the radii of the elements of second period are given below. Arrange them in the decreasing order of their atomic radii. Are the elements now arranged in the pattern as in the periodic table? Yes. Which element has the largest and the smallest atom? You will observe that boron has the smallest and carbon has the largest. Now how does the atomic radius change as you go from left to right? So you will see that the atomic radius decreases in moving from left to right along a period. This is due to an increase in the nuclear charge, which tends to pull the electron closer to the nucleus and reduces the size of the atom. So if you see, boron has larger and carbon has smaller atomic radius. Study the variations in the atomic radii in the group. If you will observe as you go down, the number of elements which has smallest and largest atom, you would observe that as you go down the group, the atomic size increases. So when you go from left to right, atomic size becomes small, and as you go from top to bottom, atomic size increases. You will see that the atomic size increases down the group. This is because new shells are being added as we go down the group. This increases the distance between the outermost shell electron and the nucleus, so that the atomic size increases in spite of increase in nuclear charge. Now let us understand about the metallic properties. In the metallic properties and non-metallic properties, examine the third period and classify them as metals and non-metals. You will On which side of the periodic table do you find the metals? They are on the left side, and on the right side are the non-metals. As we see, the metals like sodium and magnesium are towards the left hand side of the periodic table, while non-metals like sulfur and chlorine are found on the right hand side. In the middle, we have silicon, which is classified as a semi-metal or a metalloid because it exhibits some properties of both metals and non-metals. In the modern periodic table, the zigzag line separates metals from non-metals. The borderline elements boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, beryllium and polonium are intermediate properties, and they are the metalloids or the semi-metals present in the periodic table, which you need to memorize. Now in chapter 3, metal tends to lose electrons while forming the bond and form electropositive ions, or they are electropositive in nature. Whereas, how do you think the tendency to lose electron change in the group? And how will the tendency change in the period? As the effective nuclear charge acting on the valence shell electron increases across a period, the tendency to lose electron will decrease. So as you go from period, the tendency of losing electron decreases, and down the group, the effective nuclear charge experienced by the valence electron is decreased because the outermost electrons are further away from the nucleus. Therefore, they can be lost easily. Hence, metallic character decreases across a period and increases down the group. So, again you have to remember, as we go from left to right, metallic characters decreases, and as we go down the group, metallic characters increases. Non-metals, on the other hand, are electronegative and they tend to form bonds by gaining electrons. What do you observe about them in period and groups? As the tenders in the electronegativity show, non-metals are found on the right side of the periodic table from top to the bottom. So, these trends also help us to predict the nature of oxides formed by the elements, because it is known to you that oxides of metals are basic and those of non-metals are acidic. So these are the trends which we can understand about the modern periodic table. That is, just to summarize, we know that the valency increases and no change in the valency as we go down the group. Atomic size becomes small as we go from left to right, and atomic size increases as we go from top to bottom. Here metallic character decreases as we go from left to right, and here metallic character increases as we go from top to bottom. This is what you understand about modern periodic table. And the modern periodic table gives us lots of information about various properties of elements. Thank you.